Hi. I don't know whether I'm alive or dead right at this moment. Um, I have a time differential between my computer, my Fit watch, and the TV. And the TV is faster, so I'm either 3 minutes early or 2 minutes late. I forget how. But yeah, I'm gonna try and stay away from politics, and I'm also gonna try and maintain my thought process this time. You know, I stayed away from the drugs this week and everything, so I should be okay. No earthquakes or anything to disturb me. Um, my crazy dog is here with me. She's laying on the floor behind me. If I can get her to come up later, you'll be able to see her. But anyhow, um, I did a written blog this week about the old days, and how people always say that things are better now than they were then. Well, I'm one of the people that lived it then, so maybe people like me are better judges of what's better now or not. That discussion I had on the written one was all about music, not the types of music, just the technology involved in it. It seems like we're going in a huge circle. We started out with just basically radio, and then when you could get the music to take home, it was wax, see the cylinders, and then it went to wax discs, and then it went to vinyl discs, and then it went to reel tape, which I still think is one of the best. 8-track tapes, cassettes, and eventually it went to CDs. And a lot of people have said this, and I agree with them because I've taken some CDs that claim to be master recordings, and I happen to have at the time I happened to have the vinyl master recordings of these CDs, and you play them. And at the time, I had the capabilities to pretty much play them almost next to each other, and the the vinyl was much better. My equipment was better there too. I mean, CD player, you get a CD player, you can. Doesn't make any There's really not that much difference in CD players. I don't think, unless you have a commercial grade, if there's something that's like that is better. I had an old AR tape, manual player turntable, and had Pioneer SX 727 preamp, which was a tuner, and then I had Bose speakers. Those I still have. The rest of it I don't. Obviously, I don't have the vinyl record collection anymore either. They gave it to a friend of mine, and then he passed away. So I don't know who has it now, or if it still exists or not. It wasn't worth anything. I sold everything that was worth anything. There was just some classic music in there that you couldn't get anywhere else. Um, I don't know how to. You used to be able to sit there and you know what true stereo was. You put a racing CD on, a record, a recording. I don't care how you did it, tape, whatever, and it would go from left to right across your speakers. You know, and you say, "Wow, that's cool." You could hear a drag racer go. He'd go left, right, and then he'd just keep on going down the track. And you say, "That's cool," and you would get. Maybe you would get the guitars from the left and the voice from the right, or you would get the main part of the group from the left and the soloist from the right. But you had this feeling that you were sitting in the middle of a group of people. The so-called stereo they have today is more like mono. At least to me it is. At least maybe my ears are just shot. I don't know. The rest of my body is, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. Um, the the technology just isn't there. And if CDs and everything was so good, how come the artists all want to go back to vinyl? You know. Let me tell you something. My setup wasn't cheap at the time. The cartridge I had for my AR player, the needle, was ridiculously priced. It was a prototype that I managed to get my hands on through a friend of mine, and nobody else had it, and I had spectacular music. I don't know. I don't know who's better or what's better. I don't know whether that's the best there is, or that's an example of going back and taking a look at the things from a perspective. Now, people will tell you the music's better today. That may be. I don't know. I'm not a big rap fan. Rap reminds me a little bit of the beatnik generation. Where the guys would get up in the coffee houses and somebody be sitting there playing the bongos and they'd read a poem. It's pretty much the same thing. Because the beat stays the same. The beat doesn't differ that much between songs and whatnot. And rap is a message that's not for me, for the most part. I mean, some of it I understand and I enjoy it. Some of it it's just uh, what is it? It's like the people that complain about profanity in movies. It's just gratuitous. It makes no sense. The music makes no sense. It's out there to cause trouble, and I don't think it's out there to express a true opinion. You know, some of it does. Some of it does express true opinions. So that's cool. What else can I talk about that isn't politics? You talk about politics all the time, and I can talk about sports, but my favorite sport, football, is not. They're doing nothing right now. It's just it's the mystery time. With all the money changes hands and everything. So it's kind of a dull period in the season, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. With that, yeah, there's tennis on. I have friends that love tennis. I used to work in this bar in Union, and I had over the road truckers and cops hanging out in the place. And when the which tennis tournament was that? The U.S. Open was played in New York on Long Island. They would sit there and watch it, and then they'd go nuts for Chrissy Everett. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? You guys are like, how did you even know girls play tennis? And then they weren't making funny about the short skirts or checking this out, check this out, check that out. This was strictly they loved the ability, the play that was being. They were much more. Women were much more interesting to watch than men back then. And I still think they are. So what else? Hockey. Hockey I used to follow a lot. I used to go to the Ranger games. I had season tickets one year. That was a strange experience because I was drunk all the time, and my section wasn't upstairs; it was downstairs, and it was so bad that people that were up in the so-called rowdy sections in the balcony and whatnot would come down and sit with us every once in a while, and they'd get up and leave because they were afraid of us because we were crazy. But I enjoyed that game. I enjoyed the game. That's a game you could sit. That's a game you can sit at the mid court or mid rink or whatever they want to call it, and you can see everything that's going on. And you sit down in the corner by the goal, and sooner or later, some guy's face is smashed into the glass in front of you. That's cool. That's it. I'm not that the guy's face is, but I mean, it's just being there and seeing that. What do I like? I told you I like football. I've never liked baseball. I think baseball is. I understand baseball. I've played baseball. Um, it's one of the most. To me, it's one of the most boring sports in the world. Those guys. Those guys are definitely overpaid. I mean, they can hit a curveball. Okay, that doesn't make him worth $160 million a year. Sorry. Okay. They're kids that never go in a pro ball that can hit a curveball. There's kids that can throw a curveball. We had a team, a park league team, I think you would call it, where we played different parks in Essex County, and there was this kid, I can't remember his name, tall, lanky kid. This would have been junior year of high school, I think, and he was throwing summer of my junior year, and he was out there throwing fastballs 110, 115 miles an hour, and he had a curve that there was no way you were standing in the batter's box when he threw it. You were bailing out. So these are, but he never went to the pros. He didn't even play semi-pro baseball. I don't know what he ended up doing. Of course, back then when you're talking about when I graduated in 1963, uh, if you didn't have a college, if you weren't going to college, you were going to get drafted. That was it. You were going to go get your ass shot at, or whatever. So and some of those guys just never went anywhere. I saw some great athletes back in the day that never went anywhere. So these guys that are out there aren't the best. Trust me, they're not. Because they're making 100, they're not the best in the world. I've seen some of the best, and they never made it. Something took them down along the way. Drugs, the war, whatever. That's baseball, football, golf. I like to watch because I'm just so bad at it that I admire the guys that can do it. I mean, there's a sport where they're not really. I don't know how much they're overpaid or not. They say you win. I don't know, a few $100,000 in a tournament, and unless you're Tiger Woods, then you get paid a few $100,000 to show up. But if you're not, you're just one of the guys, and you win the tournament, you get a couple hundred. I don't know what it is, a few $100,000. I don't think it's a couple million. I don't think it's that much anymore. And they sit there and they. In what they do, I mean, they have so many sponsors that they don't actually get anything really. They're not. It takes a long time to get rich, because these guys they have to have sponsors, and these sponsors put a lot of money up front for them to go on the tour, and then they take it. Then they want it back, so they take percentages of the winnings. So these guys don't get all of that money. So that's those guys are a little different setup. Basketball has changed so much. Oh God, I go back to the real good Celtics, Bob Cousy and that crowd, and the Knicks and whatnot. Back when the Knicks were, and then they were and then they were again. Um, I remember some of these guys, and I hung out with a lot of these guys. That's how I met Senator Bill Bradley. And you got to meet a lot of these people that way. They were much more accessible back then than they are now. They didn't make as much money. I mean, it was more. You talk about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan just had the balls. He and who was the other guy? Dr. J. They had the balls. They wanted the ball. Give them the ball. They take. I've watched Dr. J. I was at a Nets game one time when Dr. J was playing with them, and he gets the ball. There's a few seconds left in the game. He gets the ball. He's inside the 3-point line. Just backs himself out. Just casually dribbles backwards. He's got a guy all over him. Jumps up, swish. Those guys are good athletes, but changed. They walk a lot. They travel, whatever way you got. They palm the ball a lot. It's not the same skill level. There's too much, I think, of an individual play involved. When teams start to actually gel and play together, they start to win, and they can dominate for years. But eventually, somebody decides that he's the superstar and he wants to be paid all this money, and he's that good, and he wants the ball all the time, and the game changes. What other sports can I talk about that I know something about? I guess that's about it. Darts, people don't call it a sport, but it's a sport. It's kind of difficult too. It's extremely difficult for me because of the hand-eye coordination part about it. I've had to make some adaptations, and actually I'm better now at it than I was when I was 25 years old and I started playing it. Still not great, still not a competitive level player, but I'm good for the bars. I did. See, I'm talking about money, and Let me put that back up again. The Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, the quarterback, just got $160 million. The guy's, I just don't think he's that good. But anyhow, hey, I don't pay the bills. These guys they're paid by how many people they can put. They're paid by the asses they can put in the seats. Anyhow, what do I do? Since I don't do sports anymore, what do I do? Well, I don't play solitaire. I play solitaire on the computer, but I don't play cards that much because nobody can play cards down here. But I do wood carving. I talk to you about wood carving. Let me reach over here and get this one. Oh, and this one. Okay. Where the hell is the camera? Oh, there it is. This is one of the things that I do. That's called whittling. That's done basically with a knife and a you do that with a knife and a chisel. This is done. This is more of the more whittling. I do a lot of these hounds. Some of them I sell, some of them I don't. They're pretty easy to do. I do them with a knife. They're abstract. They're not highly detailed creations. But they show the dog, the generality of the dog. You're able to see. I do things you can't see. I don't think you can. Yeah, you can see over my left shoulder there. You can see these two things here. These are called relief carving. And then you have there, right there. That's pyrography. That's a large one. Pyrography is wood burning. You've all done that. This is what I do. This is sort of an abstract. That's an abstract version. This is more of a detailed thing. It's all about. It's not about the drawing because I don't do the drawings. I copy them and then I burn around them. It's more about the art, the shading and whatnot. What I do with them. This is what a lot of people think about when they think about wood burning. This is more of it. The wood is there. The wood is it's burned. It's black. It's not shaded. It's a different thing. I use some color when I do this, just to, I don't know. I just do it for kicks. The fish I showed you. That's the most popular one down here. Everybody wants the fish. Okay, are you going to come up and say hello or not? Antonio is right here. Antonio, come here. Inga, come here. Come on, up. Oh boy. I don't know, yeah, you still can't see her. You're going to have to go to see one of the videos that I post. There you'll see Antonia, because I have a mobile camera. I can move the camera around. I can't move this camera around, but it's the only one where the voice works. When I try to use the other camera, the voice doesn't sync up with my lips, and the video's over and I'm still talking. So we have those things that I do. I play chess when I get a chance to. I used to play it on the computer, but it doesn't. Computer wins, I've written 5 books. I've showed you the covers. I think I've showed you that stuff before. If not, you can go to one of the. I'll put them up on a. I don't want to dig them out right now because that means Well, maybe I will. Nah. You wait. I've done six. I've done 6 books. Haven't sold. I think I sold 6 copies too, and I bought 4 of them. And it's an exercise for me to keep from going insane. And some of you are probably sitting up there right now going, "You failed that lesson." Well, I can't fail a lesson because I was always insane. I've always been considered slightly off center. I'm a hippie. I've always been a hippie. You can't tell how long my hair is because it's so thin. When I say thin, I mean it's the strands of hair are ridiculously thin. Makes it hard to see long hair and whatnot. But my hair at one time was down to here. I guess I was around 21, 22. I kept it that way for a while, a couple of years. But I've always kept my hair. I tend to keep my hair long, except you'll see it. You'll see it. When I eventually get. I'm trying to get it cut this week. COVID makes it a little difficult. But I want to get it cut, and you'll see. I get it cut really short now, so that I don't have to go back for 3 months or something like that. It's just not. It's inconvenient for me. Everything I do. Everything's inconvenient when you're my age. You just don't want to do it anymore. But the problem I have down here is I don't speak the language well, so I always have to go with my wife. And going anywhere with my wife takes a lot of work, a lot of patience. You know, she's refrigerator broke last night. Now it's working again. We're hoping, but it's not supposedly not going to be a permanent thing. So we're deciding it's going to cost. I don't know how to put this in dollars right away, but it's in pesos, in Colombia pesos. It's about 3,600 pesos to the dollar right now. It's going to cost 400 and some odd thousand pesos just for this piece, just for the part to be installed to fix the refrigerator. But if I want to buy a new one will cost me. I think I actually did some figures on that. Did I? Yeah, it will cost me about 2,500,000 or something like that, and that's about $770. And the one that she wants is going to cost me over $1,000, and I'm really not. I don't want to spend that kind of. I don't want to go into that kind of debt right now. I'm trying to get out of debt so that I can go to America around Christmas time or something. I don't know whether you people enjoy this stuff that I do or not, and I honestly don't really give a shit. I come out here to entertain myself and to do something that to express some views on things and stuff like that. Just to keep my mind straight. I mean, it's like I built computers when I was trying to learn technology and what back 30 years ago. I right now I use an Ubuntu-based Linux operating system. This one is MIT 19.3. It's not the latest one. There's one more after this. I'm waiting to see what's happening with that. I don't really see like they say. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, because there's really nothing new that I need. And I watch people. And I'm good at that. I understand it, and they say, "How, man, you understand it?" Yeah, it's logic, And so long as my brain can still work a little bit, logic is okay. Okay, somebody came back. They go, they come. Who cares, That's life. You're here today, gone tomorrow. So I don't, I guess we'll go back to politics or human issues, the news next week. I wish I could be able to find somebody that'd be willing to sit down here and talk to me on the air. Bring him in and sit him down. We could have a conversation about something, but no, they don't. People down here don't like to express views publicly. They'll sit around in groups in the parking lot and talk about stuff, but they're not going to voice these things openly. It can be dangerous. It's dangerous in the United States to talk openly about things. To look look in politics, and just for a second, let me just go real quick for that. If you look at the political people that speak out against the Republican Party that speak out against Trump, their careers are getting attacked viciously, and they don't deserve that. They're doing the right thing. Um, if you guys can think of a topic, I'd like to talk about fishing, but I've been fishing in over 10 years now since I moved down here because it's too dangerous. Nobody wants to go. They all think it's bullshit, and again, kiss my ass. They don't know how to. They don't know how to enjoy nature down here. There's some vicious people in this country. Really. Speaking of that, there's a dog that shows up every time, sometimes around here. If you see it standing on the hilltops, it looks just like a wolf. Those piercing blue eyes. It's a husky. She's a female. Don't have a name, but somebody shot her right eye out. And so today I'm watching this dog walker come up here. He's got two dogs with their right eyes gone. Somebody around here needs to, you know, have a testicle removal operation, if you understand what I'm saying. Um, that's just the viciousness of people. I love animals. I also saw today most of the squirrels down here are big red squirrels. I saw my first regular gray squirrel today, a little one, and this one must have been fed by people because he came right over to me, until he saw Antonia, and then it was, gone. Few choice remarks as he left. I'm stalling for time. I got to make these around a half hour long, and I've run out of really, things that I can talk about. But getting back to, I know I flip flop a lot, but getting back to the wood carving and the pyrography, if you're interested in that, wood carving, there's a guy on YouTube called Gene Messer. He's the one that I learned everything from. Uh, I've copied some of his style and carvings and whatnot, and they've turned out pretty good. They're not around right now. That's how good they are. Um, in pyrography, you can learn all the various techniques, and as far as tools go, you just, you got to pick that out yourself, whatever works best for you. Um, and again, the internet is a wonderful thing. If you're a hobbyist, you can learn so much from it. If you're a news junkie, you can get all the good, the bad, and fake news you want. So the internet's a cool thing, but I'm not dependent upon the internet for my life. I'm dependent upon electricity for a lot of things. The elevator, a few other things. Lights, that's okay. I can go to sleep earlier. Can read by candles if I have to. So, you know, I'm a nature guy. I'm an old guy, and my interests aren't city lights. I like being out where it's quiet and peaceful, and nature's all around you. And you do a little wood carving, a little whittling, do some wood burning, whatever, and do some writing. It's all just sitting back and relaxing, but it's not without a purpose. You have people that retire and don't do anything, absolutely nothing. Will they travel? Well, I know some people that do that. And they're my age. They're my age bracket. They can barely walk around, and they go with these tour groups, and they look like idiots. They look like tourists. They don't get to see the little shops and everything that my wife took me to when we came down here. You don't get to see the cities, the small towns, because you're afraid. You read the notices. Be careful! Don't go here! Don't go there. It's the same in New York. Um, but I go there and I go here and I go everywhere, and I enjoy my life, and I keep myself active. My friends, They don't do anything. I have a couple of my friends that work that are younger than me, and they work, and then they go to the and they work, and they what, go lay down on the couch and they watch what they call football, which I call soccer, but you know what it is. And if somebody ever stole their iPhones or whatever they lost, they would be gone. I mean, you're sitting there with your friends, watching the Super Bowl or something like that, and everybody's watching, going on their phone, texting this person or that person, and I don't like people that much that I would want to talk to them every friggin' 2 minutes. I just, I enjoyed the fact when I went to work that nobody could get a hold of me when I was driving to work in the morning, or once I left the office, they couldn't get a hold of me. Now, you have a cell phone, they're calling you as you're getting out of bed, as you're headed to the shower in the morning. They're calling you as you're sitting down at dinner at home to discuss something with you. And I think that's just stupidity. I don't want to talk to you now. Call me, I'll see you in the morning. Well, listen, I made my 30 minutes. Actually, I made 31 minutes and 22 seconds. So I'm going to say goodbye. I don't know if I entertain anybody or what have you. I know my voice has become somewhat monotone as I've gotten older, so I don't know how that's working out. If that's putting everybody to sleep, if it is, bring the baby next Monday night, so you can put the baby to sleep while you're listening to me. All right, everybody have a good week. Be safe. Get that vaccination, and I'll talk to you next week.